TV's education coverage is brought to you by Lilly, a medicine company.
Wish TV is your education station. Bitter feelings between advocates of traditional public schools and charter schools in Indianapolis is growing rapidly. Amelia Pack-Harvey is a reporter for one of our news gathering partners, Talkbeat Indiana. And Amelia, you have written on this topic. We've talked to you before on it. We get the gist of this battle between the schools for power and funding, but now it's getting ugly.
That's right. Yes, I'd say it's perhaps one of the most divisive sessions we've seen coming out of this legislative sessions between proponents of traditional public schools and proponents of charter schools. It just got to a level this past 6 months that was, I would say, probably pretty unprecedented.
Now, you've been mentioning the personal attacks here in your articles. I don't want to go into that myself. I'll let you explain it, but they've gotten very explicit.
That's right. Yeah. So I talked to about a dozen people for this story and asked them, both charter school proponents, people who might be seen as charter school proponents, as well as traditional public school advocates, about what they had been experiencing the past few months. And really it had gotten pretty personal. A school board member walked out to her car and there was a profane sticky note. Someone unknown to her knocked on her door. There was anonymous text messages sent en masse to Indianapolis residents, kind of taking a jab at Superintendent Johnson's salary, which is public information. So it got pretty elevated as the session came on, kept going, and of course social media kind of exacerbated that.
Of course, we know politics, education, both very tough games to play in. We're of course accustomed to people sending attacks towards the other parties, but in this case, this almost feels like this is a new low now that things are going beyond the line we're used to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how both sides, if it's possible even at this point, kind of have these conversations. There's a community conversation table set for tonight, and a series of them in the future, how they kind of mold what the future of Indianapolis, which might look like, education might look like.
But the thing here, we've seen it go to a new low before, so what's preventing this from going even lower? I mean, do you think that there's a possibility that once they come together, that it may exacerbate the problems that we're seeing right now, and it may just make those personal attacks a bit worse?
That's true. I mean, I think now that the session is over and the law is already passed and what's done is done, there's little room for going back and changing that. So, the district was dealt the hand it was dealt, and so we'll have to just figure out how to move on from here. And I think that's what at least district leaders are trying to do and tell the public, although there are people that are still very upset with how the session went down.
Well, what do you think begins this conversation, or in this case, the steps to kind of remedy some of the things we've seen play out?
Well, I mean, the upcoming community conversations might just kind of force folks into the same room to talk and air their grievances. And then the alliance that was formed, state-mandated alliance that was formed to kind of examine what the future of schools looks like in Indianapolis, sharing resources between charters and traditionals. They might come up with some suggestions. I don't know if those suggestions will be well received or not. It might depend on which side you're on, so we'll just have to see. But I think the next steps moving forward, the public meetings, the first of which is tonight, I'll be there, we'll probably just force that forward.
Well, we can't wait to get an update from you on that. Of course, we'll have you back on Daybreak to talk about the updates from that meeting for sure. Hopefully things go in a positive direction. Alrighty, thanks Amelia.